It's how you respond that counts. In relationships, there will always be issues and challenges. There'll be conflicts and misunderstandings, and you just can't get away from that because you're two different people trying to function as one, and that's a big challenge and something that you'll be working on for the rest of your lives. So just settle it in your mind that there will be challenges. You see, the problem with most people is that they think that relationships will be challenge free, and that is a very unrealistic expectation. So as a result of challenges and when issues arise, they don't know how to handle it and end up reacting and responding negatively, making the whole situation a lot worse than it was initially. There's a very big lesson I learned when it comes to relationships, and that lesson is that even though challenges are inevitable, it's how you respond to them that counts. You see, the right response will diffuse a heated situation, while a wrong response will cause an eruption. That's right. I'll give you an example. The other day, my wife got a bit cross with me because I wasn't doing certain things that I should have been doing. So she left a message on my phone. She left me a voicemail expressing how she felt about the whole thing. And that message kind of got under my skin because when someone's trying to tell you certain things that you're not doing right, it can be painful. So she was exposing my weaknesses, and that kind of made me feel a bit bad, But initially I felt justified in not having done some of the things I should have been doing that was making her cross, because I felt I had a valid excuse for not doing them. I had been extremely busy, and I didn't feel like I had enough time to do these extra things on top of everything else. So initially when I received the message, I was hurt, and I made up in my mind that I wasn't going to talk to her. I was going to let her know that I was upset with what she had said. I felt that she was being unfair, and I was going to make it known that I wasn't pleased. That's the male ego in me starting to rise up. But you know what? The more I thought about what she said in her message, the more I realized that she was completely right. And if I was completely honest with myself, I deserved to feel the effects of her wrath. I deserved to feel the effect of her anger. And although some of the things she said were painful and hurtful, I had to accept that she was justified for saying those things. In the end, I decided to respond differently to how I initially wanted to react. I was going to not talk to her and show that I was upset and, all that kind of stuff. But instead, after I calmed down a little bit, I took on board what she said, and I took her corrections. So rather than trying to get her back and get even, I apologized. I swallowed my pride and made the changes that I needed to make. As a result, we resolved the issue and had a lovely evening of intimacy. Now, if I had responded negatively, as I originally intended to do, there would have been a different outcome. That's right. Because it's how you respond that counts. Remember, that's what we're talking about here. Your response to situations. If I had responded negatively, we would have probably ended up having a big fight, arguing over who was wrong and who was right. We would have been angry and upset with each other and not talking to each other maybe for days. And rather than the whole thing ending with intimacy as it did when I apologized, it would have probably ended up in resentment. But with the right response, we were able to avoid this. Because there's a very important principle that I learned from Jack Canfield, who is a very, very accomplished life coach. And one of the principles of success that he teaches is that event plus response equals outcome. which means it's not so much the event that you're going through, it's how you respond to the event that will determine the outcome that you get. So the way I responded to this event determined the outcome that we got. Because I decided to respond positively, we had a good outcome. But had I responded negatively, we would have had a negative outcome. And this applies not only in relationships, but in other areas of your life. If you're having challenges in any area of your life, it's how you respond that counts. If your response is failure and, oh man, I can never get through this, and I'm defeated, and I'm nobody special, I can't achieve anything good in my life, or if that's your response, then guess what? Your outcome will be negative. But if you can rise to the challenges, my goodness, if you can be strong and do the right thing and take positive steps, regardless of how negative the events might be, you will have a very positive and good outcome. And that applies in relationships, it applies in everyday life. So I hope you see my point. The next time you're faced with a challenge or misunderstanding in your relationship, before responding, ask yourself how the response you are about to give will affect the situation. Will it improve the situation or make it worse? Will it bring resolution or will it cause the issues to flare up even more? Your response is what determines the outcome. It's how you respond that counts. So if you want the right outcome, give the right response. And sometimes giving the right response will mean swallowing your pride and accepting you were wrong. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that. God bless. Bye bye.